Ladies and gentlemen, welcome you all to the Straight Up Wrestling Podcast. It is I, Christopher Burton, your people's podcaster, with
Harry Taylor
and the Asian sensation Michael King.
We are back today with episode number 2. Number 2 today, ladies and gentlemen. We got an awesome show for you today. We're going to cover some hot topics of this past week in the world of wrestling. And we're going to try to touch on some indie too, man. So we're going to be real busy and going to have a lot of great information for you. So, Harry, what you got for us, man?
All right, man. The first match I want to touch on, I want to talk about, and this is a little bit over a week. So I want to go with the Young Bucks against Pac and Penta.
Yeah, that was back in June 4th, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. So we're going with AEW, Pac and Penta?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, man. That match was what I thought it would be. Somewhat of a high-flying match with a little bit of ground and pound mixed in because Pac, he throws some of the nastiest chops and the wicked, some nasty kicks. And Penta, you're going to get that Lucha Libre high-flying style.
Right.
You expect that out of him.
It was a very fast-paced match. A lot of flying around. But I tell you, I am still a big fan of Pac. He's still my guy.
Really?
To be quite honest with you, there's nothing that he can't be. You need a high flyer, he can be a high flyer for you. You need just a jerk that's going to make you angry all the time. He can be that guy. He
always looks mad anyway.
He does, and he looks dirty, not like he needs a shower, but he looks like a shady character.
So true. Somebody you wouldn't want to trust with your wallet.
Right. Yes, I agree exactly. I agree with Michael on this. I like Pac a lot. Is it Pac or Pac? But I think
they call him Pac.
Right.
Yeah.
They call him Pac, but it's just we're saying
Pac
Pac because we're used to Tupac.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Pac, ex-Pac.
Right. Exactly.
There's a lot of Pacs, man.
Yeah, but I like Pac a lot, man, and him and Penta, they really gets me excited and bring me back to a lot of old school wrestling. The Young Bucks, very good tag team, and I like the way they mix together.
Yeah, and the Young Bucks, man, they're a world-traveled team, man. They've been all over the world.
Absolutely.
IWGP World Tag Team Champions over in New Japan with the Bullet Club and that whole deal, man. So they and plus they're brothers.
Right.
So that makes their chemistry even better.
Yeah, they know each other well, man. I mean, you can tell they've been with each other for a long time. I mean, they probably was practicing this stuff back when they was kids. Who knows?
like the Hardys. Right?
Pretty much. Or better yet, go back even further, Steiner Brothers.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I did not like in that match. I did not like taking the mask off and having another mask underneath. All right,
because I can see how you say that because that's been done so many times with so many different wrestlers.
Exactly, and
I was shocked when I saw it when he went to do that. So
I think it's gimmicky, and if you're going to do something like that, there needs to be a lot of build up. I know Mysterio actually had his face revealed.
Yeah, he did back
Jericho.
Back in WCW.
Right?
Yeah,
but they built up to that. They made the mask a thing, a focus, and this one, I don't feel there was enough build up, and it just seemed like, I just happen to be wearing 2 masks today, And
yeah.
Right. Next I want to go to Andrade when he was introduced by Vicky Guerrero in the crowd, and how the crowd reacted to him.
He got a heck of a pop.
Yes, he did.
Got a heck of a pop, man.
And I like the way he came across, and he just came across very confident, and like he know what he was gonna do, and he's there to take over AEW.
Yeah, and a little bit of backstory on Andrade. Since he's been gone from WWE, the word is he's actually won the IWGP Heavyweight title since he's been gone.
Right.
Which, to go even further and back behind the fourth wall, which ain't really a fourth wall, but it kind of gets him out of Charlotte Flair's shadow.
Yes.
Because you know they're engaged.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So that kind of separates him a little bit, makes him his own man, not like Charlotte's boy.
Right. Yeah, I like that out because I didn't even think about Charlotte Flair too much when he was out there talking.
See, exactly.
You know, he came across so good you didn't even picture that in your mind. You know, so
right. But I think it also helps when he was in WWE. In my mind, he wasn't even a popcorn match. He was I'm at home by myself chanting boring. All right.
Ooh, that's bad.
All right.
That's pretty bad.
So he was very predictable. There was nothing new about him. He was typecast into, gosh, I even forgot that other wrestler's name, but
wow.
it was like I remember this character when he was called X. You know.
Yeah.
So when he moves over to AEW, and this is something I think AEW is really excelling at, and why people gravitated is, it seems like they're giving these WWE cast-offs, if you will, a little bit of character freedom to be somebody completely different.
Exactly, and then they're able to let their part of their personality actually show.
Right.
Versus, because you got to think, WWE, they write the wrestlers' promos for them. Back in the Attitude, you could come off the cuff and say what you wanted to say.
yes.
So now, if you're performing in your WWE, you're in a box. You be like, this is what you got to say. This is how you got to say it. This is the type of influx you got to say it in, and this, that, and the third. And you really don't let your personality shine.
Yeah, and that turns a lot of people off. And that's one thing.
Because you're robotic.
Right.
Yes, and I was watching Raw a couple days ago. It just turned me off, and I was like, wow, man, if they can they have all the wrestlers with the looks. They got the look down, and they got a good product, but that continual writing for everyone, it's not working. And I'm like, you have to leave that, and you have to go back to trying to let these guys come out and like you say, bring out their own personality, so people can really gel with them and say, hey, this is somebody I can go up to and talk to, instead of somebody that sound like they're from another world or something.
Yeah, their polish is overriding their grit.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, I get it. You want to be creative. You want to make these guys and women look spectacular, and you want to enhance what physicality they already have. I get it, but you got to let their personality come out just a little bit.
Yes.
Right.
Because, like I said, you're cloning them.
Exactly.
That's right.
And it's good for a while, but after a while it gets boring, it gets old, and it gets stale, and then it's going to repeat, and then, well, look at the ratings. It speaks for itself.
That's true.
Exactly.
All right, let's go on with the Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson versus QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo.
Okay. I like QT Marshall. I said it. All right.
Wow.
Oh, please explain this one.
I think I liked him because he was the guy that did not fit in with the other three guys. Right? He didn't match.
Okay.
All right. So I'm watching that.
One of these things is not like the other.
Exactly. And I think that's really the crux of why I liked QT Marshall.
Gotcha.
Man, that's amazing. I mean, I guess a lot of wrestlers, me and you, we have that in common. I mean, I love QT Marshall. I mean, I really like him. He really brings something to the game that brings me back. I mean, I can look at when I watch him, he reminds me of Matt Bourne or someone like that. Somebody that even a younger Magnificent Morocco. He has that physicality about him, and it's just he has that realness about him. He's tough. He just brings so much excitement to the match that kind of breaks away from what we see that's normal today.
True. He's ground based. He's not too high. He can high fly, but he's not too high fly. But one thing that kills me, man, y'all gonna think I'm crazy. His name, man. Why you name yourself after a gas station?
Well, you know, maybe
I mean, what does it stand for? Quentin Tarantino Marshall? QT Marshall, man. Come on, man.
He's trying to get that promo, that sponsorship from Quick Trip. So.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, he's.
But you know,
man.
if his matches would, you know, if he'd kick off with matches that last less than 3 minutes and him winning all the time, he could roll with the Quick Trip. All right.
Yeah.
That's true.
So QT, if you're listening, my man Michael King, he's a sensation. He's very good at scouting talent, and he's wise beyond his years. You might want to listen to him.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's what doesn't work. Okay? Cutie is not a cutie. He's a handsome man. All right, he's not a cutie. He doesn't pass off as that adorable puppy dog.
I'm gonna let that one. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But anyway,
well, you know, I'm just a little bit more secure in my masculinity, is what it sounds like.
Hey, tomato.
Yeah, no. Let's see.
I don't want to pass over like Cody Rhodes and
no,
Go and that.
Well, Lee Johnson, didn't he? That was his man. That's who he was bringing up, right? That was his protege.
Yeah, that was his protege. Yeah,
Lee Johnson seemed to be pretty good, but I think he needs QT Marshall. QT Marshall was somebody who they probably should have kept him with him. He should have stuck with him.
Yeah,
because I think he will bring a new element. He will bring the element of strength, the element of to where he's more. He will polish him up a little bit more to make him a little bit more tough. I
kind of felt that these were really 4 singles fighters in a tag team event.
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
Definitely. Yeah, because you got to think Cody singles.
Mm-hmm.
The only time he tags is with his brother, and that's on a very rare occasion or a special event. But other than that, he's single.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, QT, Lee, those singles guys, and they just like, okay, we're gonna throw you in together in the tag, make it work.
Right.
And it came out pretty decent.
It did.
It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best,
match.
but it came out pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Okay, who was the winner of that match? I'm trying to remember. I think Cody
QT.
Rhodes.
Yeah, didn't QT come off with the win on that one?
I think he got the victory on that.
Oh yes. Yeah. Okay, we didn't give a grade to that. Let's go back and give a grade to this first match, Young Bucks over Pac and Penta. I give that match. A B plus. Yes.
B plus.
Yeah, I give it a B plus.
Yeah, it was.
We
really
all
good.
agree on something,
It was
ladies
really
and
good.
gentlemen.
There's got to be something spectacular for an A. I know that from our past conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Ric Flair will have to come back and get the championship one more time for me to give someone an A.
Flair versus Dusty to get an A, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, way back in the day. Yeah. I mean, back in the old days.
Yeah. So let y'all fans know we got a tough grading scale.
Oh yeah. Okay. On the match we just discussed, Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson versus QT Marshall and Anthony Gogo. What would y'all give that on the A/B scale?
B minus.
I give it a C.
No, I give it around a B minus. Just it wasn't Michael gave it. I thought it was a very good match.
I give it just a solid C.
I liked it, man. I liked
so
it.
Is C or popcorn match standard, or is C minus the popcorn match?
Anything from C minus and below is a popcorn match.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip over some, and we're gonna go to Jungle Boy and Christian Cage versus Private Party.
Okay. Again, well, Private Party is a good tag team.
Yeah, they are.
They're a good tag team. Jungle Boy and Cage are solos.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I noticed this about you, Harry. You like tag teams.
Yo, I love tag team wrestling.
All right. So you love tag teams and
all the tag team is dead, man.
Oh, I know.
All the tag team's dead.
That's one of the things I think that helped kill wrestling. That helped put it in the state that it is in now. I mean, of course, we having sometimes you having WWE. They're getting ratings probably like 1.2 million. Got AEW. They trying to get back. Sometimes they've been getting averaging close to around 700,000 viewers for the last 4 or 5 shows. But we want to get wrestling back to the 10 million. I mean, to where it's 10 million people watching on a weekend. you have to bring back tag team wrestling.
But here's the problem, though. Here's the problem.
Go ahead.
You do got to bring back tag team. You got to bring back that element. I get it. I understand it. But you got so many wrestlers coming in now that want the individual fame and glory.
Oh,
and you have
no
such
doubt.
an influx of them. I mean, come on, man. Why you think AEW is running like 3 or 4 shows? And
that's true.
And
That's
maybe
true.
like 3 of them are on YouTube. What is
Mm-hmm.
it? After Dark. What's the other ones? After Dark and something else. There's 2 others.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
But-
got that Rampage coming up.
Yeah,
and all
Rampage.
That.
and all
Rampage,
that.
Dynamite,
Yeah.
After Dark.
So you got an influx of single wrestlers that you want to highlight that come in and automatically be like, I want to be the top dog. I want to be single.
Right.
You have that individuality, and it's hard to put them in a tag team when you have that mindset.
Elevate the prestige of a tag team belt.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
All right. So they put all this talk and everything to, I am the AEW heavyweight champion, I'm the WWE heavyweight champion or universal champion or whatever, and they put all the hype into that belt. Really, there's not that many belts. You can hype 4 belts.
Yes.
True,
Right.
true.
And then there's enough wrestlers to have solid, consistent tag teams without having to say, hey, Joe, hey, Steve, you guys are tagging tonight, you know?
Now, another thing I've noticed, there's a rumor going around. I don't know if y'all have heard. I believe it was AEW that's thinking about bringing back the 6-man tag team championship.
I don't really care.
Yeah,
I never really cared about it.
I've never really cared about a
Really?
6-man.
I'm not a 6-man tag team
Really?
match man.
So back
God.
so back in the NWA,
Never.
you telling me when the Koloffs had it, the Road Warriors and Dusty had it, that didn't intrigue you?
It was okay, man.
I like the regular tag team. Honestly, I like the Freebird style tag teams where
Okay.
you got your
Freebird rules, yeah.
Freebird rules. You got your stable. Any 2 people in that stable can defend those belts.
Now
Yeah.
I tell you, but now here's the trick. I tell you what, New Japan actually has pulled that off real good. The 6-man tag. They actually have 3 belts for a 6-man tag. So basically, what they do, they have a tournament. It's almost like you start off with 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. The winner stays in the ring, loses out. Next team comes in, and whoever wins the final match or whatever is the new 6-man tag.
Okay.
So that's how New Japan does it, and it works out pretty well.
Right. Well,
So it can work if you know how to integrate it
Yeah.
right. It can work.
It can. It's not American culture. Right? Says the Asian sensation, right?
Right, well, you would know. You would know.
You would have to invest a lot of creative time and energy to pull that off here in the States. Not saying not to do it, but the closest thing we have to that is like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and that they turned that into an absolute. Andre, I mean, if he's a smaller dude, would be spinning in his grave. He's just kind of shaking a little bit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But they've taken something that should have been prestigious
Yes.
and made it a joke.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, when they first came out with it, it was the greatest thing
yeah,
ever. It was because you were like, oh man, they honoring Andre, his legacy, you know. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, if they continue to do this, the winner defends his
Right.
right as champion, and if he loses the next battle royal, then that carries on. But they didn't do that, and then now here it is basically a joke.
Okay. I'm just going to be quick, and we're going to get off this one. But as far as the 6-man tag team matches, when I was growing up, man, it was exciting because, I mean, this is before they had 6-man titles. They would put together, you know, a few good wrestlers out of the organization of, you know, whatever it was, Mid-Atlantic, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Florida Championship Wrestling. They would pull a few guys, and they say, okay, we're going to have a 6-man tag team match, and, you know, we're going to put together Johnny Weaver with Scott McGee and Ricky Steamboat, and we're going to put them against Blackjack Mulligan, Ric Flair, and Stan Hansen. And that was exciting. It was exciting that they would do this. They probably would do this probably every 5 or 6 weeks. They would do it.
Yeah.
And it was great. And then NWA, they start coming up with the 6-man tag team thing. And I liked it, but I didn't like it because I just really didn't care to see the Road Warriors team up with Dusty Rhodes. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It just didn't look good to me. And it's not too many tag teams that I saw that was a 6-man that looked good, that formed together. Besides like the Freebirds, they look good together.
Mm-hmm. So you're just Xing out the Koloffs.
The Koloffs, it looked good. It looked good together. But the thing about it is,
but that's two.
The best two, Ivan Koloff and Nikita Koloff, they look better without Crusher Khrushchev. And then they brought in that other guy. I forgot his name, Sergeyev, the real strong guy. I can't remember his name from Ukraine. He was really good. And when they put him in the 6-man tag team, but for some reason, because like Nikita Koloff was such a big star. He was a solo wrestler when it boiled down to it. Mm-hmm. Yep, and Ivan Koloff was for a long time. But Ivan Koloff teamed with a lot of different wrestlers.
At that point in his career anyway, he was almost going to more of a mentor stage at that point in his career anyway.
And then they put Baron von Raschke with the Koloffs at one time.
Right.
You know, in that 6-man
the Russians
tag
and the Germans
thing.
together.
Yes.
But ultimately, though, they can't get a grip on their tag teams. They have no business trying to do a 6-man tag.
That's right. Okay, let's go back to the match we was talking about: Jungle Boy and Christian Cage versus Private Party. What do y'all think about that? Just we can just pretty much give it a quick grade,
like I said,
man.
Private Party, they're a good tag team. Christian, tag team specialists as we know, Edge and Christian. Mm-hmm. Jungle Boy, he's a tweener because
he's got pop. He's a fan favorite right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's over.
He's over. His music is catchy. His gimmick is catchy.
Yeah.
People like to watch him.
Yeah. And then the older fans know who his dad was, so that helps.
He's to me, if I had to compare him to anybody, and this isn't body style or wrestling style, it's Ultimate Warrior. All right. All he does, he comes out there, the crowd pops, and he doesn't even have to be a good wrestler. All right.
Okay. I can see that.
So I'm not saying he's got the same wrestling style and personality, but
he's way better than the Warrior in that area.
Yeah, exactly. It's just his gimmick is over, his music is over, and the fans love him. So it doesn't matter who he's fighting. It doesn't matter if he's going to be facing the Big Show or if he's going to be facing, I don't know, a Go-Go. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, like that match, man. I thought it was a pretty decent match, and I didn't like the first part of it, like the first little half of the match. I thought it was kind of weak. Then it got stronger. Then I think Cage really brought a lot to it, and he made the match a lot stronger, and it made for good TV.
Yeah.
Is Cage better in a tag team than solo? Because I wonder if they're just trying to find a tag team for him.
I think he needs to be solo.
You think he needs to be solo?
I really could care less.
I'm
at that point with him. I could care less. He's just basically living off past fame and what he's done.
He is
because he still's got a little bit left in the tank. I'll give him that. But other than that, I could care less about Cage.
I'm looking for something from him. And I wonder if he is trying to figure out his AEW.
So you think he's trying to catch that lightning in the bottle one more time?
Yeah, I think he's trying to find his place. I mean, I think he was a tag team for so long, and then he has a little snippet of solo.
Yep, and when he won the heavyweight title.
Right, and then he's here in AEW. Who is Christian Cage versus Edge and Christian, right? Who's Christian Cage versus Christian. And so I see him do this, solo thing a little bit, and then I see him doing this tag team thing, and I just kind of feel like he's trying to figure it out.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I can still care less.
But as far, it's the way I see it. To me, he's still a top 7 wrestler in AEW. He's one of the best they
Oh,
have.
okay. I was wondering where you were going with the top 7. I was like, wait a minute.
He's one of the. No, I mean we're gonna have a ranking system. That's one thing. That's one thing. Everyone who's listening to us, that's one thing we will have a little bit later. And if you like our broadcast, please hit that like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can know when we're coming on. So we can continue to bring you content. But
yeah, you had me worried when you said top 7. I'm like, well, top 7 in what?
I'm talking about in AEW. He's
Okay,
still one of
okay.
the top. He's still one of the top 7.
Yeah, I was about to say, please clarify.
You know, okay. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good match. I mean, it ended up being a low B for me, maybe a B minus.
So B minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably say about B minus for me.
Okay. All right, who is this DMD? Getting burgers knocked out. Oh, okay, DMD.
Britt Baker.
Britt, yes.
Yeah.
She got
Adam Cole's fiance.
Yeah, she was out there and they celebrating. You know, she got the burgers and all that. And I was shocked that she was pulling. You know, they had burgers for the celebration. So I mean, you know, kind of stunned me. I was thinking maybe she was taking this off the Trump thing when he had the Clemson football team there, and then they had that I forgot the other team there, and they celebrating with McDonald's, and then I think they did Chick-fil-A one day, or what was it, Burger King? I'm not sure, but I was like, they taking a page out of that, and
who knows?
But
who knows?
I think like she gave it to a couple people. And then some of the rest, she kind of like ignored.
Yeah. I mean, she's over, but she's still a quote unquote heel, even though she's over.
Right.
So she's still got to play that role, man.
Yeah, she still got that little arrogance thing going on.
Of course, man. I mean, think about it, man. She's an actual dentist.
Right.
She can literally kick your butt, leave, and give you some braces.
Yeah, come back and pull your teeth out.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
So that was pretty funny though when he got those burgers knocked out of her hand. So I like that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was an entertaining segment. It was.
It was. All right, the bunny versus Red Velvet. What did you think about that match? I thought it was a very good match. I was really surprised, to tell you the truth.
I didn't know the bunny could wrestle, to be honest with you. That surprised me. Other than her interfering with the Blade and the Butcher's matches, and maybe a couple of her and Carano's here, or just like, don't hit me, and the guys hide. You know the damsel in distress, and the guy hiding behind them.
Yeah.
Other than that, she surprised me. She can go.
She's actually a little bit more than just eye candy, because that's what I was
she
thinking.
can go.
I was like,
She can
she's
go.
just eye candy. You know, you got a couple good looking little petite girls in there, and they can actually wrestle, man. They did a real good job, I thought.
Yeah, because I mean, let's take it back to WWE. Lana was the valet for Rusev, and that's all she was. And then she wanted to wrestle, and then she got some opportunities to wrestle, and it was clear she was being carried. All right, and so you take it to this one. You're wondering the same thing. Is this just a valet, and then she wants to wrestle, and so she finally has up, and then to the surprise, it's like, oh, okay, so evidently she's been working on this.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we know who was it? Velvet Red or Velvet?
Red Velvet.
Red Velvet.
Yes.
All right, we know she can go.
Yes.
Because we've seen her in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But Bunny did surprise me, man. I'm like, okay, you've actually practiced other than her and Carano's every once in a while. You actually can go pretty well. Like, I like the match.
Yeah.
I give it a A minus.
B plus.
Velvet Velvet won the match, right?
Yeah.
I'll say B plus. I say B plus.
Okay.
You know,
Maybe,
2 and 1. We're just gonna pick on you all day.
I mean,
Hey, man,
it was really good, man. But
hey, I graded it on TNA versus actual wrestling. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be honest, man.
You almost gave that thing a perfect grade, man. I don't know about all
I
that.
said an A minus, man. I mean, come on, man.
Okay.
A lot of TNA going on, man. Come on.
All right. I think this we get into the next show, but let's
Because we got
we're on the July 11th show.
We got one thing we definitely got to talk about.
Okay. But let's give overall grade to that July the 4th show.
The overall grade? I'll let y'all go on this one first.
Solid B.
Yeah, I'd say solid B. Probably a little bit more. Probably a B plus. I really enjoyed it. it's something that really got me back into wrestling.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at this stuff, man, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to look at a bunch of garbage again. After Dynamite, after the pay per view, I said, okay, I'm about to look at this, and their numbers went down. But I said, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. But I looked at it, and I'm like, man, this is really good. It's really strong, and it's really. But I think you're right, Michael. Solid B when it boils down.
I kind of
giving it a little bit above average.
I kind of wonder what you watched just before this. I mean, did you watch WWE Raw and then switch over to the AEW?
I don't even.
No, I haven't watched.
I
watched Raw a couple days. I mean, a few days ago
Raw.
when on Monday night. Chris, I know Chris. He turned and went and watched the basketball game, but I watched the first match and then I had to go back. I had to go back and look and watch the whole thing, man. I'm like, it was like watching a train wreck. I mean, I was like, come on. I'm like, they have everything in place to make this thing right, man, but they just refuse to do it, seem like. But, okay, let's jump over to the July 11th Dynamite show. Christian Cage versus, and who was it, Angelico?
Who?
Angelico?
Oh, is it Helico?
Oh, no.
It's Helico or Angelico? What a Helico, I think.
Okay.
I think that's how it's pronounced, but it's just spelled. Did either one of y'all watch that match?
I didn't get to watch it. I was actually at work, so I really didn't get to watch it.
It was a really good match.
Y'all can fill me in on that one.
Did you watch that one? Do you remember?
I know. I don't remember. I think I got caught up in the Pac Penta match in my head.
That's a real good match. Okay, the Christian Cage and Angelico match, Helico, whatever his name is. It
doesn't matter what his name is.
I apologize.
I had to get that one.
It was a very good match, and I mean that was a very good match, and they both showed a lot of talent. And it was a hard hitting match, and I really appreciated that, and it brought a lot of my old inner self back into the sport. I was like, man, this is what it's about right here. So they really put on a pretty good show, and I give that match maybe a low. I'll give it a high B plus. I think Cage won the match, I believe. But we're gonna go on since Michael. I don't know if Michael can't remember too much about it, and Chris didn't watch this match. So we're gonna move on and go to Pac and Penta versus Eddie Kingston. No, Pac and Penta with Eddie Kingston versus Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler.
So I thought that was a good match. But
Yeah.
I can't remember when Pac has had a bad match.
It's been a while.
And this is one of the things I like about I feel this is proof that you can do heels versus heels and still have a good product.
Of course.
A lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't make sense, and you can't have heels. It's got to be heel versus baby. You can never have baby versus baby, and it's like, I don't buy that. And maybe because I'm old school, and I remember seeing matches from time to time where two baby faces get in the ring, shake hands, punch each other in the face. One guy wins, and they shake hands and split ways.
Exactly. Because I remember the first time I seen heels versus heels back in the day. That I ain't gonna lie, that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a thing called kayfabe.
Right.
And it was always heel versus baby, or heel versus tweener, or a baby versus tweener. And when you got to see a heel versus heel or a face versus a face, it was like, oh my God, what are they doing? Yeah. And you just wanted to watch. You didn't care if the guys were no good or not, but you just knew their roles, and you were just like, I just gotta watch.
You didn't know who to root for.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, it was crazy, man. I mean, I remember when Midnight Express got into it with the Four Horsemen when they got into it with
oh my God.
Man, that was hilarious, man.
You were like, what? No, who do I hate both of them, but who do I cheer for?
And it was crazy. And I was like, I like Arn and Tully. I didn't really care for the Midnight Express.
No, which version? I think it was Stan Lane?
Stan Lane and Bobby
Eaton.
Okay,
Stan.
But
I
love. I didn't really. I never cared for Bobby Eaton. But this made me a fan of Bobby Eaton.
Bobby Eaton was a worker, man.
'Cause
He was underrated.
No, I know he was, but this made me a fan of Bobby Eaton. When he told Arn, he kept calling Arn Anderson a wimp. He kept saying, "You wimp! I'm not afraid of you, you wimp!" I was cracking up, man. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, man!" I'm like, "This guy," you know. It was just like, and Tully just sitting back there and they looking, man. And I'm like, they about to fight out there. And Jim Cornette, he's got his racket, man, like he's ready to hit somebody. It was pretty cool, man.
And then the interaction with Cornette and James J. Dillon.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
yes.
Those two, that was classic, man.
See, there you go. 6-man tag.
Exactly.
Managers in there.
Yes. So let's go back to the match we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a very good match, man. And
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. It was a good match, but there was one problem for me.
What's that?
Something about Eddie Kingston. He, It's something about that guy. I don't think. It's something about him. I just don't see him. He doesn't look and doesn't. It's just like somebody picked him off the street and taught him some bare basic moves and got him some New York accent with some extra charisma and be like, okay, there you go. And I'm like, no, dude, no.
I kind of agree. I agree with you
Eddie
on that.
Kingston just don't fit.
But
So now that's my opinion, and some people may hate it. I don't give a damn. But Eddie Kingston, he just don't do it for me.
he has a place, man. I mean, he has a place in there.
Okay, if he's a manager or an advocate or the buddy that you bring in off the street,
Right.
that's trying to look out for you or something like that, yes. In ring, he's still got some work to do. In my opinion.
I agree. But man, I mean, he looked good with Pac and Penta. Because I mean,
they carried him.
They carried the match.
They
They carried the
him.
match, and he looked good with it. So I was while the match was going on. Myself, I was thinking about how would Eddie Kingston do by himself. I thought I was thinking that too.
Is Eddie Kingston a spot monkey? No, I'm just
Well, now that's something to think about. I believe he is. I would, from the way he wrestles, yeah, I would definitely say that.
So because if you're a spot monkey and you get thrown in with a tag team, particularly a 6-man, it's easy to hide. It's like you just go in there, do this, and this, get out.
Yep. And I think that's what they use him for, basically, in that particular match. Because, what was it? Him and John Morrison. I mean, not Morrison. Moxley. John Moxley.
Oh, yeah.
Moxley.
Right.
They got a friendship going on or whatever. And they've tagged a few times, too. Who carried that match?
Moxley.
So, I would definitely say he just comes in, plays his role, gets beat up or beat somebody up, and then tag, he's out.
Mm-hmm.
So he really,
Yeah, that the Young Bucks. I mean, the match pretty much was Pac and Penta. I mean, versus the Young Bucks
and their
and
partner.
and it was really, really good. And I think they was really putting it on the Young Bucks. But man, I love when when they pulled Brandon Cutler in, man. But I thought it was hilarious. They pulled him in, man. They just started beating this guy. Just beating him to death, man. I'm just like, no, man. It's just such extreme violence, man.
That's what you like, man. You old school. You like that horseman coming out 18 against 1 and just jumping a dude till he just can't walk no more. That's your thing, man.
Man, they shouldn't have done the man like that, man. Man, the pain that he was showing, man, when he was getting hit. I mean, it was just excruciating, man. I'm just like, this guy's about to die in there. And when they pulled that little jacket down, that sports jacket down, man, and they chopped it, man. He was like, I was just cracking up, man. It was cool though.
I like that match a lot.
Yeah.
Bring it back to leave Cutler on the side of the ring because you could always have him interject himself.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Leave Kingston in the locker room and just make this a traditional tag.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the match, look, it got better and better as it went
did.
on.
Of course.
And I think Pac actually made that. He actually made that match to where I give it a A. Put it on
A-minus?
A. Yes.
A, straight up A?
Yeah, I'll give it straight up.
Wow.
Ever like say I did.
Wow.
I did have that same sentiment that you have as far as A-, but when I think about it and how entertaining it was, I'm gonna give it an A.
I give it. Yeah, I'll probably agree with you and give it an A too.
All right.
Well, now, what about you, Mike?
A minus, because I'm the jerk around here every day.
Well, hey, you got to have at least one. You got to at least have one, man.
All right, man. Miro versus Evil Uno.
All right. The old luchador style. So,
Miro. Well, we know Miro's basically pounding ground.
Yes. Yes.
He's the brute.
Yes.
He's gonna just basically show off his power, and and be like, I'm the big gorilla, and rah 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 rah, and I'm gonna beat you. Now, Evil Uno, for a big guy, he can move.
Mm-hmm.
He can move. So, and he can be power too.
Yes.
So it balanced it. The match balanced out when you look at the two styles.
Right.
Because Miro, like I said, Miro's not going to leave his feet very often. He might do it in special occasions, but 9 times out of 10, he's not going to do it very often.
Yes.
Where Evil Uno, he'll do it. He'll do it every once in a while himself, and you won't see a guy because, like I said, Evil Uno, he's a big dude. You won't usually see him do some of the things he does, but for the betterment of the match, he will. I would overall give that one. Matter of fact, who won that one, by the way? Was it Miro?
Yes.
Miro? Okay. That's what I was thinking. I would say I'll give that maybe a solid B.
Yeah, B minus. B minus.
B minus.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I really like the Pac Penta Kingston.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Are you starting to be a Pac Mark?
Yeah,
starting to be a Pac Mark?
I finally found a guy uglier than me, so.
Pac and Penta,
well, thank God this ain't on video.
Pac and Miro they kind of mirror images of each other a little. Besides, Miro has a little bit more power, but I'm talking about as far as the form of wrestler that they are. To me, they both.
You said Miro and Pac.
I'm not saying they're the same, Chris. What I'm trying to say is,
please explain.
I see them in the same realm of wrestlers. Same realm.
Okay,
of wrestlers. That's what I'm trying to say. But Miro, Miro did really well in this match, and he showed me a little bit more than what he had shown me the previous couple weeks that I had seen him.
Okay.
He added a little bit more to his repertoire, but I don't think he's gonna add too much more to that because he's just too compact and he's too big.
Yeah.
But he did really well, man, especially with the interference from Evil Uno's little team there. So
the Dark Order.
The Dark Order, yes. But we're gonna end off this segment as far as this this July the 11th show. But I'm gonna ask y'all one question about. We're gonna go back to the Jungle Boy. Do y'all think he should be getting this world title shot? Do he deserve the world title shot?
Yes.
Ooh, please explain this one.
I think it goes back to what I said earlier. He's over. All right.
I agree there.
Okay.
All right? So
let me.
I'm not saying throw the belt on him, but he's over. And you put him in the
so you say you give him the opportunity, but not necessarily put the strap on.
Right. So
okay.
So Jungle Boy, the best I can compare Jungle Boy is back to the Daniel Bryan Yes movement. All right.
Okay.
So
okay.
I personally believe WWE did not want to push Daniel Bryan, and the fans made it impossible not to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that because. I can see giving him that push, putting him in that spotlight, giving him an opportunity, but not necessarily putting a strap on him.
Right.
Because, really, can you see him being the face of your company?
No.
Exactly.
That's what I feel,
exactly.
man. I can't.
I'm like, okay, we can give you the opportunity. We can build you up, but far as, like, overall and you carrying our banner,
no,
unfortunately, you're not that guy.
Right.
I mean,
you don't put the belt on George the Animal Steel, right?
Exactly.
Right,
Even though
right.
he was super over.
Yeah.
He's super over, and you put him in a match with the belt, but you don't give him the belt.
No.
You cheat him out of it all day long.
Because you want to. Because actually, you want to. Mike, you want to have the baby get that sympathetic, like he was almost there.
Yeah.
Oh, and
They
it slipped through
They
his
cheated.
fingers.
They cheated.
Yeah. So what happens? You're gonna be like, okay, well, we're gonna give him another shot, and everybody's like, yes, come on, he's gonna get it this time. And just make it closer and closer and closer until you feel that you have him right on the ledge, and then you're like, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and give it to you.
A belt is a golden crutch.
Right.
Yeah, yes, it is.
But yeah, the way I feel about it is, this Jungle Boy, man, he is. To me, they should build him up over the next 2 to 3 years. And I'm not saying just do it in AEW. Take the guy, let him say, okay, we're going to have you wrestle here for 4 more months. Then we're going to send you out to Ohio Valley or somewhere. Then we're going to send you out to maybe APW or something. We're going to let you wrestle a couple months there and then come back for 6 months and then go somewhere else and wrestle for a few months, and then we'll bring you back. But I think they should build him over time. And then within but keep it where his name is out there.
So almost like a self-promotional tour.
Pretty much.
So what you're basically saying, even though he's with AEW, majority of wrestling fans know who he is.
Yes.
But still get him out there to the smaller bases.
And let him become champion with a couple little independent promotions.
Yeah. And then let him get a taste of what it's like to be, quote-unquote, a champion.
The character can never be a champion.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the Jungle Boy character can never be. Tarzan's not a champion. George Animal Steel's not a champion. That character cannot be a champion.
But see, the thing about it, I don't know what his real name. What is his real name?
Something Perry, because that's Luke Perry's son.
But see, that's when he can become a champion. They can say the Jungle Boy, but they can use his real name. They can say the Jungle Boy James Perry is here or whatever. James Perry is not a great name for a wrestler, but come up with a great name, but just always call him the Jungle Boy. Just like, say, Ricky. Remember Ricky Steamboat? Before he went over to the WWF, which is called WWE now, he wasn't called Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He was just called Ricky Steamboat. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Vince McMahon came up with that dragon thing. He might have came up with that gimmick or whatever.
Yeah.
But he wasn't called Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I mean, I've been watching wrestling for a long time.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know he wasn't Steamboat. He wasn't
the Dragon.
The Dragon. He always been Steamboat. But Jungle Boy needs to go somewhere, and like he's getting his development in AEW. He's fine as a wrestler.
Oh yeah.
But have him go somewhere else, and even though he's already over, he can go out and he can be a champion here and there, and then come back and, like I say, use his real name. And I think, man, he will get over well. But them trying to just push him up there, man, and just, you know, say, hey, okay, this guy can be our world champion or whatever, or have a shot at being a world champion, I think I just think it's crazy. I think it's an insult to wrestling fans. And sorry if you're listening to us and you hate my opinion, but hopefully you still like and share and subscribe, you know?
Wow. So now we have 2 jerks. Wow.
Hey, don't hate the opinion, hate the man.
Exactly.
Oh, Lord,
That's
man.
right. That's right.
No. Well, actually, we rather hate the opinion than the man.
Yeah.
Lord,
Just say that Harry Bernard Taylor is a jerk for coming up and talking about Jungle Boy like that. I love Jungle Boy. But I like Jungle Boy as a wrestler, but I want to see the best for Jungle Boy. I don't want to see them to where they just, because if he doesn't win a title, you know what's going to happen. They're going to bury him. They will bury him after a while.
So you're saying at some point stop dangling the carrot.
Yes.
Pretty
much, man.
You lift him up and then you crush his dreams.
Of course you would say that. Of course you would say that.
All right, we're gonna go to last week's NXT show.
Oh man!
All right.
I mean, I really like the show, man. I mean, I think there was another podcast, a famous podcast to you, Chris, that you pretty much put on the page. But I'm not gonna put down. I'm not gonna put it down, but. That right there, and they was talking about it, and it wasn't just them. It was some other podcasts that I listened to. And they was talking about NXT, and they didn't like it. They didn't like the pay-per-view. But myself, I liked it.
It was good because
I
one
really
thing
liked it.
I liked about the NXT pay-per-view in your house, number one, the set. I love the set, the old school set from like the early 90s.
Right.
I love that. The presentation. And then secondly, fans.
Yes.
They actually are getting fans back.
Right.
And that is a major, major ingredient in professional wrestling.
Okay, let's look at fans. Let's talk about fans anyway. Back when, I think what was it, AEW was using Daily Place.
Yeah.
I think in all the was it All or Nothing pay-per-view that just happened.
Yep.
And they had it was
double or nothing.
double or nothing.
Double
Double or
or
nothing.
nothing.
It was 5,200 fans. I thought it was more than that, but it was 5,200 fans that was there, which was pretty good. But when I look at stuff like that, I don't know how many people they could have got into the place or anything like. But I can go back. We can go back to the old territory days.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, man, Mid-Atlantic, a small card at the Greenville Memorial Auditorium was 4,500 people. 4,400 was tiny. Was a small crowd.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
And they wasn't trying to get anybody over either. I mean,
No.
they would have one star, 2 stars come there and fight the main, wrestle the main event.
Yeah.
And,
And everybody else is like people they picked them off the street or somebody you ain't never heard of.
Those rosters only had like 20 people, 27 people
Yeah.
sometimes, man. So, but yeah, let's go on past that and let's go ahead and start with
In your house.
in your house next.
Man, I tell you what. In your house, I saw it. It was good. It was good.
First match, man. MSK with Bronson
Reed.
Yeah, with Bronson
Bronson
Reed
Reed,
versus
man.
Legado del Fantasma.
I
Fantasia.
knew from the jump, even though I haven't been watching the build up for that particular match, I just knew. I was like, ain't no way in the world they're going to let these guys lose them belts that quick.
Yes.
And they really haven't even had them for X amount of period of time.
Right.
I was like, ain't no way. They would be stupid if they do that. Especially when Fantasmo and all them boys just lost a few months earlier. They just lost those belts. And you going to put them right back on? Come on, man. That's just some common sense right there.
Right.
I mean, but overall, it was a good match.
It was.
I mean, and Bronson Reed, he can go for a big boy. He reminds me of what was it? I think he's Australian. I believe he's Australian or somewhere.
I think he is.
I think he's like Australian or
something
somewhere. But he
Not
kind of
sure.
reminds me of a more agile Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Mike, what were you
Without
gonna
the
say?
head tattoo.
Yeah, definitely without and a lot more hair.
I felt that was a perfect opening match.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I think in many respects, the first match is more important than the main event.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
All right. It really sets the tone. So you get the fans into it. And it's going to make the other matches in a sense better because the fans are hyped up for it.
So
But
other
at the
matches
same
have to step up.
time,
yeah.
at the same time for the wrestlers, you can't be that match that kills the crowd, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, no! You do not want to be those guys.
Wrestling.
No pun intended.
It's kind of like music. It's kind of like music. If you don't get people within the first, as far as wrestling goes, if you don't get people within the first 3 to 4 minutes,
You're gonna have to work.
yes,
You're gonna have to really work.
you're gonna lose them if it's a casual wrestling fan, and that's the problem. Wrestling has lost the casual wrestling fan, and what we seeing at these shows, man. You look at AEW. When I look at their crowd, they look like the wrestlers. I hate to say it, they look like the wrestlers. I look at WWE. And their crowd. When I look at that Monday Night Raw, they still kind of look mimic their old crowd.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
AEW, and I looked at a couple of the indies, man, and the crowd looked like the
Hey, Harry,
they
I'm
look like-
gonna let you in on a secret.
they look like the wrestlers.
Nobody
man.
knows this, but most of the crowd are the wrestlers.
Oh man, shut up, man.
I'm gonna let you in on that. Don't tell
All right, so
nobody.
So AEW does put some of these wrestlers out there in the crowd.
Exactly. Basically everybody's ringside.
Yes.
That's their wrestlers that they aren't using.
Right, and it's so that you can throw wrestlers on them.
Exactly.
All right, and you don't have that liability of it being fans. But
Yeah.
here's the part two to that, why the crowd looks like wrestlers, is because these indie wrestlers, they pay to see AEW, they don't pay for WWE.
That's true.
Oh wow.
All right, well let's get on past that. Now, what you before I give a grade on this match, man, I was really impressed by this Escobar guy.
Oh, Escobar, man. Yeah,
I
Escobar,
like Escobar,
man.
man.
He's got a reputation, man. He's a great worker.
All right, so
he's a great worker.
I was watching him specifically, and what I saw was Triple H. All right, look at his body. I think he's probably had a lot of time coached by Triple H.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be either.
But man, it was he's really good, man. He's really developed, and I mean,
and you got to think about it too. If you're a wrestler and he's well traveled, he's been all over and whatever and everything, but who wouldn't want to sit on that learning tree?
Oh,
yes.
Absolutely.
I mean,
but man, he needs he needs a major push. I'm not saying he needs to be the champion, but man, he needs to be in that top 5. He needs to be in that top 5 within the next couple of years, man. They need to be playing him in that top, keeping him in that top tier.
Why does it feel like there's 10 people in the top 5?
I don't know, man. But that's the whole thing about it. We will have a ranking system coming up,
and we're going to fight.
Yeah,
when we put this ranking system,
we're going to fight. But like we're going to have a top 10.
Yeah,
we're going to have a top 10, and then we're going to have, well, I guess probably maybe a top 5 as far as tag teams, because like I said, it's not really a lot of tag teams. It is, but it's not when it boils down to it. Okay,
Zia
but
Lee.
overall, what would
overall, I would give that, because like Michael said, man, you got to first match. Mm-hmm. You got to knock the show. You got to knock it out the park, because wrestling fans have a short attention span. So I would give that I would give it a A-.
B+.
B+. Yeah,
I would give it
B+.
A-.
Well, overall, so that'll make it an A. Okay.
Yeah.
Overall, all three of us together, it averages out as an A.
Yeah.
But it was a really good match. So no, it would be a A-, I guess.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Okay, you say Zia Lee. Was it Zia or is it
Zia?
Okay.
Zia
Lee
Lee
versus Mercedes Martinez.
Oh yeah, man.
That was a good match.
I love the presentation because of how they basically repackaged her, Zia Lee. Zia Lee, that's Zia Lee.
Yeah, I thought it was Zia Lee.
Yeah, how they basically repackaged her, because they showed the clip of what happened in the Mae Young Classic, when Martinez basically just ran through her like a wet paper bag and just killed the poor girl. Well, since then, I think that was 2015, 14 when they had that first encounter at the Mae Young Classic. I may be wrong, but anyway, fast forward. They tried to do some stuff with Zia, got her some wins here and there, but she wasn't over. So here we are now, 21st century and all that, blah, blah, blah. They repackaged her to be a complete badass. Mm-hmm. And it's worked. It has worked. And then Martinez just going off that I'm a tough, rugged kind of wrestler, don't mess with me kind of attitude. It meshed.
Yeah, and Zia Lee, I was shocked. Go ahead, Michael. I'm gonna let you go ahead take this one.
Okay, I'm a sucker for the female Japanese wrestlers. Mm-hmm. Period. It doesn't even, throw Sailor Moon out there. It doesn't even matter.
Oh, wow. He went to the anime.
Right. So I love Asuka. I love Zia. The even just Asian female wrestlers. Right, I love them. All right,
yeah,
and they're my favorite, and I've got a heavy bias towards it. So,
let me guess, Bull Nakano's number one, right?
Who?
Bull Nakano. She would be your number one.
Actually, my favorite, I forgot her wrestling name. The one who dressed up like Sailor Moon, did the pirate thing.
With
Asuka for a little bit there.
Yeah.
She was my favorite for a long time.
Okay.
So I'm going to be biased towards them, and so my grades are going to be a little bit. It's going to show that I have a bias there.
Really now, you don't say.
Okay, man. But I was really, Mercedes. I mean, she's she got a lot of size to her. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Zia Lee, man, I was really impressed. I was really impressed how hard hitting she was. I think it was a hard hitting match, man. It was physical, and she really brought it to Mercedes.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
but see that's what I'm saying. That repackaged, they made her
Right.
the way they repackaged her. She has to be.
Yes.
She has to be. And then, like I said, the overall presentation, man, from the entrance to the match to the ending of the match was awesome. You know, it was good. I give that match overall, man. I give that a
First victory. Who the victory?
Oh, the victory.
Zaya.
Zaya.
yes.
Zaya. Yeah.
Yes. But go ahead.
Yeah. Zaya got the win on that one. I would give that match overall. I would definitely give that a B plus.
A.
Well, you biased, man. That don't count. That don't count, man.
I'm gonna go with the B plus too, man. But overall, it comes down to A. I'm gonna go with the B plus. But man, it was a really good match, man, and I was so entertained by it. But I'm not gonna give it an A. We just gonna let Michael go ahead and have his little bias thing going on.
Exactly, man.
Because like I say, he is the Asian sensation. So
yeah, I mean, come on.
But it's wrong, man. It's wrong. All right. Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight in the ladder match.
Oh, for the $1 million belt.
Oh, yeah.
The $1 million disappointment.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
okay. Before I'm gonna let Michael. I'm gonna give this to Michael. But first, let's talk about that $1 million belt. I never liked it. Hate it. Get rid of it. I hate it. I hate it.
Wow.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I know I'm repeating myself and I'm repetitive, but I'm sorry.
He hates
wrestling fans, I hate it.
All right. So
I love Ted DiBiase, but that belt made him, whatever.
So how do you feel about the crown and King of the Ring?
Ooh.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of neutral there.
All right. So what I'm getting is you don't hate really the concept, because the King of the Ring crown and the $1 million belt is the exact same
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, he got you. He got you.
I'm just.
So
See, I've been watching Ted DiBiase since the mid '70s.
oh yeah, when he was a babyface.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and then
And when he really was a baby face with no hair.
yeah, and then he became a heel. I remember when he became a heel. Such a great wrestler, man.
Oh yeah.
And then when he went to the WWF, man, and got this $1 million belt, and he had Virgil out there, which I thought was cool. It was cool, man. Those two together and all that. But
Virgil the lackey.
Yeah, he was, man. But like I say, I mean,
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
but that's what people are looking at him like right now. But that's what people are looking at. And see,
he was still, man. Okay, we gonna just touch on this real quick.
Let me finish, okay? Because I'm just talking about Ted DiBiase.
Okay.
All right. But Ted DiBiase was a great wrestler, okay? And the WWF, man, they focused more on that belt than they did on him. And he was pretty much, it took away from his wrestling talent. And
Absolutely.
I didn't like that.
They changed him from a wrestler to a fighter.
Right.
All right. So he was a technically sound wrestler that I enjoyed. I mean, it was like he's the guy that has the counter to every move, you know, and he had, when he wrestled, I watched him in Mid-South. There was flow to his matches and that kind of stuff.
So you saying he was Dean Malenko before Dean Malenko?
He was one of the top wrestlers in the game.
I think there's something to that.
He was. I put him up there with as far as technical wrestlers. I put him up there with Dory Funk Jr., Vern Gagne, Bob Backlund. He had that Nick Botwinkle. He had that type. He had that type of skill, man.
You putting him up there with some heavy hitters, man.
He was in the NWA, and like I said, he was. And I had a fear at one time back in the mid '70s. In around 77, 78, I knew Ric Flair was going to be the champion one day. Ric Flair was either him or Dusty Rhodes, because Dusty Rhodes was really great too. But Dusty Rhodes ended up getting it before Rick got it. But Ted DiBiase was one of those guys I was like, he is a threat. He is one of those guys that could be the champion. He one of those guys that could defeat those two. To me, he was like Magnum TA before Magnum TA. He was that good. I mean, he wasn't. Magnum was more of a babe magnet.
Oh yeah, and
Ted was a little bit too. I mean, you know, he had the good looks too and everything like that. But he had the skill. He had more skill than even Magnum had. He had more skill than most of the wrestlers had, man. He was just really good. He was a really good wrestler.
So you hate the belt.
Yes.
All right. That's fine.
And it stayed
Okay.
with me. It just stayed with me, man. Because
I don't hate it like you do. I think it's an interesting gimmick. I'm a little bit neutral to it. To the match itself, I don't know that a 2-person ladder match is really ever going to work.
Right.
And I think that was one of the things that made me say the $1 million disappointment.
I thought the match was pretty good, especially when they start going to the high spots.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to look at LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at their personalities.
Mm-hmm.
LA Knight is his character is more of a quiet, snobbish, I'm better than you, and you can look at me and you know I'm better than you kind
He
of
reminded
guy.
me of Rick Martel a little bit.
Exactly. Where Cameron Grimes is like just getting somebody off the street and giving them $1 million and putting some good clothes on and be like, oh yeah, I'm the ish now. I'm that guy. You can't tell me nothing, and they the cock of the walk all of a sudden.
Now, I thought Cameron Grimes was a good wrestler, a good fighter. I mean,
Yeah, he's a good wrestler now.
I thought what he was doing was really good. And I mean, he's a hard hitter, man. I mean, he really sells himself. He's really good at what he's doing. But I was like, man, should he be in this position? I mean, he reminds me of a private Jim Nelson. You remember Jim Nelson?
Oh, good Lord,
when he
yeah.
teamed with
Yeah.
Don Coronado and
Yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter. He reminded me of somebody like him. And I'm just like, okay, good wrestler, but he's one of these guys that's over, that they I don't know, man. He's just somebody that.
But see, now, if you'd watched NXT way before we got to the pandemic and all this, Cameron Grimes came on the scene. People hated him because he was very braggadocious.
Right.
He was very egotistical. He was like, I'm better than you and you can't do nothing about it, blah, 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 blah. Okay. He was hated. He was a heel. People couldn't stand him. People always wanted to see him get popped in the mouth. Okay. When it didn't happen, it made you hate him even more, which built more of his fan base.
Right.
And then it got to a point where now it grew on you where you're like, you know what? He's not that much of a jerk. He's not that much of an asshole. He basically, he's like I said, a Joe Blow that just got a little clout and is gonna put it in your face, and that's how you look at it. Where, like I said, LA Knight's more of that quiet, egotistical, like, I know I'm better than you, and I'm gonna prove it without being so braggadocious.
Right.
Yes.
I don't have to tell you.
Exactly. You can just look and see it on me.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, go ahead.
So you go to ladder matches. Typically, you have like 5 people in a ladder match, something along those lines.
Yeah.
You smash one guy in the head with a ladder, and then you go to climb the ladder, and there's 4 other people to yank you down, right?
Yeah.
When you have 2 people in a ladder match, you smash a guy in the head with a ladder, and there's nobody to pull you down. So now you have to be very careful and more strategic to make sure you don't have that set in there, because there's no way. And so I think you get used to the excitement of 5 people in a ladder match, and then you just drop it down to 2. Imagine if all those other ladder matches were just 2 people. All right.
Okay.
So I think one of the great disappointments of this ladder match is I have the excitement of a ladder match with the implementation really of a popcorn match, except now I'm disappointed because I didn't take the time to go make some popcorn.
Oh wow! Holy cow! Woo!
But
man.
overall, what do you think? Tell us what you really think about the match, man.
For real, good gracious!
I think it's a solid. I think these guys can do a better match without the ladders.
Right.
I like the ladder because I'm looking at it like, okay, if you set up the match 2-man ladders, you basically have to work the guy over. Use the ladder to your advantage early. Beat your opponent down. And then at some point, you're going to make a mistake. They're going to come back, beat you down. So now you're both beat down. So if I'm wrestling you, Michael, and I beat you down, you beat me down, I'm sore, you're sore, I'm going to climb up the ladder, but I'm not just going to run up the ladder like it's just the first 5 minutes of the match. I'm gonna be like, oh my God, this Joker done banged the heck out of my knee. I gotta slowly climb up, obviously, which is gonna give you time to recuperate if I beat you down, to come back and be like, oh, I got a chance because he's not running up there at 100 miles an hour.
Right, but it means you get rid of all the big moves with the ladders, right? Because again, you put that ladder across the apron and the barricade, and you throw a person off the top turnbuckle with it. There's nobody to stop you, so you can't do that particular move set. All right, so you take the big spots that is key to ladder matches out of the ladder match, and now you don't have a ladder match. You have a match that happens to have ladders.
Okay, now this makes me ask the question, kind of going back to today. Would you rather see this match set up like Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon in Continental at WrestleMania 10? Since you put that out there, where you put it out there.
I think there's other creative ways of doing this particular match and the $1 million belt. I don't think I'm going to like any ladder match that is only two people.
Oh Lord, just mute his mic, Harry. Harry. Oh Lord.
Man, I'm sorry, Chris, but I gotta.
You too?
Yeah, I gotta roll.
You
with
drinking?
Michael on
You
this
drinking
one,
the Kool-Aid too, huh?
Man, the ladder was unnecessary, man. And these guys could have a better match without that ladder. And it just,
come on, man.
You know, they had two ladders, man. Come on, man.
I'm being honest. That match, in my opinion, without the ladder, without that dynamic, the match would have been flat.
No, I don't think so.
Have you ever seen Cameron Grimes wrestle?
Yes, man. But the thing about it is,
have you ever seen LA Knight wrestle?
Yes.
So them two without a extra dynamic, you think that would have had a good match?
I think they can have a good match, but they might have to work on it. They might have to wrestle.
Popcorn.
They might have to
popcorn.
Man, be quiet, Christopher.
Popcorn.
They might have to. What these guys might have to do, man. They might have to do like the house shows where you go and get developed. They might have to have a few matches with each other, continue to have matches.
Get chemistry.
Get good chemistry and build it up, because they both have the ability to put on a great match. It could have been a better match than what it actually was. I think I think the ladder kind of took away from their abilities of things that they could have done together. I think the ladder took away from that.
I think it minimized the use of ladders. I think it'd been better as like maybe a table match, a different gimmick inside of it. Even if you just put it on a pole above the turnbuckle and they had to protect a turnbuckle, and then you don't have to worry about a ladder being used as a weapon, because really that's the ladder matches. To me, it's the gimmick of using these ladders as weapons and the big moves, and you can't do any of that because I would just lay the guy out and there'd be nobody to stop the other person. All right, so yeah, you could beat somebody down and wear them out, work a limb, that kind of thing. But then you do that for 10, 15 minutes, and it's like, what's the point of the ladders there? It's not maximizing the use of the ladders. So that's my thinking on that.
But overall, what kind of grade would you give it, though?
C.
I'll probably give it a B minus.
B. Like I said, I mean, even though I do agree with Michael about the match, I agree with everything he said. But I'm just looking at.
Are you paying him? Are you paying him to say this stuff?
Hey, man, I'm looking at the potential. I'll look at the potential of what the match could be. That's what I'm doing. So, but overall, it could have been better. It can be better. It can be set up better. They can do something a little different with those two. But we're gonna move on. Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez.
I've always liked Ember Moon. And
I was actually doing laundry during this match.
I've always liked Ember Moon. I thought it was a damn shame when she got hurt a couple years ago. She is athletic, and she puts everything out there. She puts it all on the line.
And she's trained by Booker T.
Yeah, she's trained by Booker T. And because she puts it all on the line, that's probably why she got hurt. and it's probably why I like her so much. It's, I don't want to compare to Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan, when he does his moves, he's got the energy.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And she puts that same energy into. I love her energy.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm not going to say this is an A+ match.
No, it's definitely not an A+ match, man. And I remember Raquel Gonzalez, man, back when she was, oh good God, she wasn't even on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember. You have to go back to 2017, 2018. NXT was doing like a fitness challenge with their superstars. And that was actually when they were doing these fitness competitions, like pull-ups, sit-ups, and bench press and all that stuff for the men and women. That was the first time I actually saw Gonzalez.
Right.
And like I said, then she wasn't even on TV.
Yeah.
And just to see how she's developed from then till now, I give her props.
Yeah. As far as this match go, I mean, I can remember because I hadn't been following, especially anything in WWE. But Ember Moon, I remember when she started wrestling, but what I'm looking at this match, man, and it brought me back. I started thinking about Larry Bird when he played with the Celtics, and I remember they told him, they said, if you continue, Cedric Maxwell told him, said, if you continue playing like this, your career ain't gonna last long. Because he would go all out. He dove for the loose balls on the floor, and he jumped in over. He'll jump over the bleachers and going after the balls and everything. He just went all out, man. He tore his back up doing it. He tore his back up doing that. Plus, like I say, he was out there. He said he was shoveling cement out of his driveway and stuff, and he tore his back up.
Smart.
But he was damaging himself in basketball, and that's one thing about her. Ember Moon, she just going all out in this match, man. She still was doing a lot of the same things that she had done before, and I'm like, wow, man. But it brought her to it was an exciting style, and it really added to that match. And so I don't know overall, what do you give it, Michael?
C+, B-.
Yes, C+, B-. Okay.
I'd like to see them work some more, though. I think there's potential.
It's definitely potential, man. If they more chemistry.
Yes.
If they do more chemistry and just have more matches together, then it would definitely be a little bit more polished.
Yeah, I'll go with this, the B- that Michael gave it. I thought it was. I would go. I thought it was an exciting match.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and let's roll on. We'll talk
main event.
Talk briefly on the 5-way match.
Yeah, the main event, man. This for all the marbles.
It was exciting. Hard to keep up with.
Yes.
It was all. It was all over the place.
It was, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm sorry, I was thinking, hey, man, I'm older, man, back when I was a teenager, 30 years ago, man, I would have been able to follow this match easy, but I'm sitting there thinking like, wow, man, they're all over the place. Am I seeing this, or are young people seeing this too? But it was a really good match, and the people I was really impressed with. I like Johnny Gargano.
He's always good.
Oh,
man,
yeah, Johnny Wrestling.
Really,
good Lord.
Man,
yeah,
really
man.
good.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would like to see Adam Cross and Johnny Gargano. Is it Gano or Garno?
Gargano.
Gargano, that's what I was thinking. I would like to see them as a tag team, man. I think they would be pretty good as a tag team.
You like to see Cross?
Yeah, I would like to see both of them as a tag team, man.
Ooh, I don't know about that one, though.
I like Johnny Gargano. I mean, I think it's almost impossible not to like what he can do. But this is a little bit off topic, but I look at Johnny Gargano and I see the actor Jim Caviezel. He played Jesus in Passion of the Christ.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so it's just, it throws me every time because I see him. I was like, oh, it looks like Jim Caviezel. But
I could see almost if I think the match would have been better if it was a 3-way.
Yes, I think 5 was getting.
And I tell you the 3: Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Kyle O'Reilly. Those 3 right there, that would have been a money-making match because of their skill alone.
Yeah,
I like Kyle O'Reilly.
they're quick.
Yeah, they're quick, and they can. I mean, they're almost like, let's say, like the Undertaker. They can go. They can slow it down.
Yeah.
They can speed it up. Slow it down. Speed
Right.
it up. Whereas now, don't get me wrong. Pete Dunne, he can do the same thing, but Pete is more of a snug, in your face, a brute. Whereas Karrion Kross.
I like Karrion Kross, man.
Karrion Kross, he's that monster.
He's a monster. Yeah,
he's
that's what I was
a
about to say. Yeah,
monster.
Man,
But
he brought it.
he can speed it up when he needs to too.
So, Karrion Kross reminds me of like a Rusev, a big guy that can move.
Yeah, big tall Rusev. Yeah.
Karrion Kross is a guy, man. I think is a guy that you build up to where he can be the champion of a whole organization. He just has it. He has the look. He has the look. He has the style.
I hate his name.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Now
That's one thing. I don't know why in the world I was focused in on that too, Michael. I was like, man, I really don't care for his name, but man, he's
Karrion Kross, a.k.a. Roadkill.
yeah. But to me, he's the quintessential wrestler to throwback wrestler.
Now I will say this, and I would disagree with you on one thing. He can be a champion, but to be a champion, you got to be able to talk on the stick.
Yeah, or
And-
have
and-
Paul Heyman.
And that's what I was thinking.
his
I know,
mic
I know.
skills are not there. I mean, come on.
I know, that's
you,
what I was
you
thinking
think
about. I was
he's
like,
gonna
man.
be able to take a match 3 months from now and be like, okay, I got a match and I'm defending my title against Johnny Boo Boo. Do you think he's gonna be able to talk you into buying a ticket to see him wrestle Johnny Boo Boo for the title?
Not really, man.
So he's almost like what Johnny Gargano said in the NXT press conference. He's airport famous.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole thing. That's the thing about it. Oh, look, say
He's got the look. He has the wrestling skill, but other than that,
Roman Reigns, right?
oh, wow, there
All
it
right,
is.
so
There it is.
But okay, I'll give it to Roman. He's gotten a lot better, but it was embarrassing when he was promoing with John Cena.
Oh, good God.
And John Cena would just punk him.
Right, right.
Alive. So, I mean, but like you said, he's got the look. He's airport famous.
Right.
You see this dude walking through the airport, big, 6'4", 6'5", jack, mean-looking joker. You can be like, oh, my God, he's got to be somebody, But other than that, and his skill, that's all you got to go on, man. Looking some skill.
Well, that's true, man. And
Everybody here knows it takes a lot more to be a champion than just looking skill.
right. And man, I was like, that's true. Everybody who's ever really been champion back when the belt meant something. And I hate to say it, man. The belt don't mean anything. And we go back to our last show when I said to you, I said, Chris, there's nothing wrong with having a long-term champion, somebody that has the belt for a while.
Except Roman Reigns, he needs to lose that thing. Anyway.
Right. But no, I'm talking about, I would like to see wrestling. I would like to see where you have a Jack Briscoe that holds the title for a couple years. I would like to see a Terry Funk. I'm not saying be like a Bob Backlund and have the belt for 5.5 years.
Yeah, because attention span with
yeah.
that,
we don't have that.
Bruno Sammartino had it for 11 years, then he had it for another 7 years, something like that. I'm not saying but what happens with those kind of when you have
so you're saying at least about a year or two.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
so anyway, sorry about that. Like I said, straight up wrestling, anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. So a little minor emergency there. But to continue on with the match itself.
Yeah.
So Karrion Kross wins this thing.
Yeah, he
All right,
wins it.
so-
and you kind of knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Big guy, big bulky guy, right?
Exactly.
But then let's think about who then are we setting up that's going to compete with him? Who has that same body style and ability and that type of thing. Because now when you put the belt on a body style, now you have to have similar body style.
Exactly.
Right?
Unless you're gonna go for that David and Goliath kind of thing.
Yeah, and then it can be done, and it has been done, but it becomes more challenging. What are you going to do that hasn't been done 15 times already to move that belt?
Exactly.
So with Karrion Kross winning and having the big body style, who are his next logical challengers?
In the words of Goldberg, who's next?
Yeah, who's next?
Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, that kind of leads into this past NXT, this past Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw Samoa Joe. Yeah, he came back. Everybody's like, oh, Samoa Joe got released with all those releases.
Right.
And he comes back. But
still not clear.
He's still not cleared, unfortunately. So he's basically Williams Regal's enforcer. But I loved it that he got in the face of Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, and I was like, ooh.
So maybe that's it. Maybe he's going to be cleared soon. And
yeah,
that's
because
the
I love the fact that they possibly dangling that carrot. That would be amazing. I would love to see it, because you talking about that body style,
mm-hmm.
and
so this actually brings me to this other point that I wanted to bring up, and I thought was Samoa Joe did really well. Samoa Joe is a heel who hates everybody. All right.
Yeah.
And I think wrestling doesn't provide itself enough depth.
Exactly.
You could have, especially when you have turns, you have heels that turn babyface, babies that turn heel.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you are no longer friends with everybody you used to hang out with.
Exactly.
All right. You can actually, just like the Midnight Express and the Four Horsemen, you can actually be a heel and hate this one particular group of people.
Exactly.
Still hate all the baby faces and still like all the heels except for this group of people, because you two just don't get along.
But like you said, Samoa Joe, he hates everybody equally.
Mm-hmm.
He don't care. Okay, I went out and had a beer with you, but I still can't stand your ass.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna go back to this.
And welcome back, Eric. Welcome
right.
back.
I appreciate it. Sorry, but things happen. I was just
this is recorded live. So
yes, but we're gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with Karrion Kross, and what we was thinking about as far as him being champion. If he was champion, I don't see him being champion no more than about 3 or 4 months, and that is because of his mic skills. Yeah. But you have to have a manager who can come that's real good at getting on the mic to talk for him. Mm-hmm. But I still only see him like a 4-month champion, but somebody after maybe a championship run, somebody who's still that's still relevant, that's still one of these guys, man, like say Stan Hansen when he he was the AWA champion. Yeah. And then he went over to IWG, he was over in Japan, and he became IWGP champion. Mm-hmm. He only had it for a few months and stuff like that, but he's still one of these guys that's a threat. And that's what Karrion Kross always need to be a threat in that top, that top tier, always as a threat for a while until somebody comes and take him down. But you can have somebody like Escobar. Somebody like Escobar can come in and say he can end up being a team with Karrion Kross, or he can end up getting into a feud with Karrion Kross. I don't know about it because both of them be kind of like stiff or whatever. But overall, what y'all thought about that 5-way match?
It was good. It was entertaining. All right, I'll definitely give it that. It's just 5 was just a lot to try to keep track of.
Yeah,
a lot of camera movement.
I could have dealt with 4.
Mm-hmm. It might have been better in person because then you could look at everything going on.
Yeah.
So
because I see what you're saying, because the camera's focused on this one guy when you got 3 other things going on somewhere else, and then you're back and forth. Yeah, so I get that.
Yeah, I think they should stop at Fatal 4-Ways.
Right. Yeah.
What you give it overall?
Overall, like I said, the match was entertaining. I'll give it overall grade. I'll give it a solid A.
Solid A.
Yeah, I'll give it an A.
I got to drop down from it, man. It had its errors. It had its flaws. It was a real good match, and overall, I should give it an A. I mean, I feel wrong for doing this, but I'm going down, but it's a B. It's a B for me.
Man, who paying you?
All
Man?
right,
Who's paying you to say this garbage? man?
I'll split the difference. Go with an A minus.
All right.
See that now? See. So who
So
paying you,
overall,
man?
we're gonna go with an A. Man,
Who paying you to say this garbage, man?
I don't know, man. Somebody just talked to me about it, man.
That's who it was on the phone.
That's right. Yeah. Somebody
Okay.
just talked to me about it. You know,
Well,
like
okay,
I
I
said, things
got you.
happen. You know. But overall, man, it probably was an A. But for some reason, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting blind by the Asian sensation, man. When he's sitting there talking about this, he reminded me of all these wrestlers all over the place, and
Man, don't be that
maybe
guy.
it's the camera angles or whatever.
Don't be that guy.
Man, it just took away from the match, man.
Lord.
But overall, what do you give the pay-per-view? I thought it was a very good pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Man. Like I said, from the presentation to
B
the
plus
matches.
to A minus for me.
Yeah.
just to-
Yeah, I'm
throw it
gonna
in
have to
there.
give it a A minus.
I'm gonna give it A. Well, it's A, man. Let's go
Yeah,
with
yeah,
A.
A.
I think it was a great pay-per-view, man, and it came close to some of those early WCW pay-per-views in my eye. I mean, I was really stunned and I was really shocked.
Now, how early we talking?
I'm talking the late, maybe the little bit after maybe 96 or something like
Okay,
that. I'm
okay,
not talking
okay.
about 94.
Okay,
Because
okay,
WCW, they had some draft pay-per-views,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the thing about WCW back then when they had their early pay-per-views, the stars were so over.
Gotcha.
That you still paid your money and you wanted to get out and see it. But like I say, around 96, 97, they started really getting good. And I
Gotcha.
put that pay-per-view up around that time. But I know we're about to wrap it up and all that. And we really don't want to go to any more segments, but I want to do a little quick insight on a few things here. And maybe Michael and Chris don't want to join in, but I'm going to make sure they do because – you, the fans, deserve it. But
so we're going
as
into
you
overtime.
listening to us,
All right, I'll let you know my overtime rates here in a
as
minute.
you're listening
Yeah,
to us,
man,
go ahead and
yeah,
share this.
yeah.
Go ahead and share this and subscribe because we're giving it to you. You know,
Like,
we're
share,
giving
and
it to you,
subscribe.
and we're straight up. We're coming straight up. Like I say, we're not holding anything back, and we're giving you what we really think about it. What we think about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling.
Yep. Don't forget to ding, 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 ring
that's
that bell.
right.
so
Yes,
you know
get
to
those
run.
notifications.
Yes. All right. WWE Raw this Monday night. Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Shayna
Baszler.
Shayna Baszler versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooks with.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
Osaka.
I'm gonna tell you this
Asuka.
straight up.
Wait a minute. It's, like say, Oscar, isn't it?
Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar.
Yeah. I like her.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
tell you straight up, and this straight up wrestling. I didn't watch that crap. I didn't watch none of it.
Oh man.
When it come to Raw, look, they send me emails, get your virtual seat so I can be on the Samsung
Right.
Jumbotron. Man,
And you're like, I don't want people knowing I'm watching this.
exactly, man. Look, y'all can handle this segment. I didn't, man, boo.
So the best thing WWE has going today is NXT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I would agree on that.
And then I know here's where you're going to disagree with me. Outside of NXT, their main shows, the best thing they got going on is Roman Reigns and the Usos. All right, and I know you're not a Roman Reigns fan.
Oh, definitely
all right?
not. Definitely not.
But that's the story that's carrying SmackDown. All right,
yeah.
that's the story that's carrying SmackDown. And
Raw,
Raw.
and the fact that Roman threw Rey Mysterio's son into like orbit.
I don't like Rey Mysterio's kid.
Oh, you don't like Dominic?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't like Dominic. I found his introduction forced. I felt this whole thing was I felt the whole thing was forced. I feel like other wrestlers don't like it because he's only there because of his dad and he's not ready.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
So I'm not it feels like I'm a baseball player. I'm about to be 42 years old. I'm not good anymore, but they're going to call up my kid from the minor leagues in September, so I'm just going to hang on until that happens, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how the Mysterio Dominic thing feels to me.
Gotcha.
They're just trying to force that just so they can and I think this is a problem with WWE as a whole is they're so interested in milestones they forgot about the wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point.
But overall, man, I thought that was a pretty good match myself. I'm just gonna talk about the match. I thought it was a good match. Until like say Alexia come out there and do that Alexia playground thing, and I'm like, what in the world?
That could be a whole nother show.
I'm just like, man,
I ain't gonna get into that one.
Like,
that could be a whole nother show.
But overall, like I say, it didn't take it. It took from the match a little bit because they turned around and they started paying attention to her, man. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good match. But then after that, I turned away from WWE. But for some reason, man,
good for you.
I had to go back to Raw, man. I had to go back and check it out.
All right, so here we go. Here's our punishment there, our self-loathing. We're gonna have to cover it. There's enough people watching it. We're gonna have to cover it. So
I'm gonna
suck it up, Buttercup. It's coming down the pipe.
Oh Lord.
But overall, I enjoyed the match, man. I'm gonna give it a C plus. That match. I think Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler won the match. If I'm remembering right. But I wanted the other team to win, but I didn't think so. I didn't think that was going to happen. Gotcha. And who is this Riddle kid, man?
Riddle actually
Van Dam 2.0.
Man,
disagree with me.
No, man, no.
Okay, I like Van Dam. I found him.
I
found him
Van
amusing.
Dam. He was good.
I find Riddle amusing. The pairing with Randy Orton has potential to be amusing.
This is true.
All right. So what's it? RK Bros. So they always come up with these corny names. All right. I don't know why they feel the need.
But it's catchy.
Yeah, it's catching. So
how long have Riddle been in the game, man? How long he's been in business?
He's been around for a while.
I thought he'd been around for a while, man.
He did MMA first and then went to pro wrestling. So he's been around for a while.
So he's a skilled athlete.
Yeah.
But he still cracks me up though, man. I'm like, what is he trying to be? Is he the new sexy boy? Sexy boy. When I was watching it, man, I'm like, sexy boy. That's all I'm thinking about.
He's still Van Dam 2.0.
He's the new Kevin Von Erich, wrestling with no shoes on.
Because good Lord, no, he is definitely not
no, he's not.
No.
He don't have that kind of skill, man.
Maybe he's a David Von Erich, one of the younger brothers that never.
Now David was actually a great wrestler.
He actually dated. They were one of the best.
He was the better one.
But he never caught on.
No, he didn't. No, he did not. But he was the one that actually the one who gave Flair a couple huge matches.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know why he was pushing him. Maybe because his dad liked him the most or something.
Who knows?
But
who knows?
I thought Kevin was the most talented one. Kerry was had the muscle and everything.
Yeah, looked the part.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But David, they really thought he had something. But I was like, man, he's not a Barry Windham. He was a good wrestler.
But basically, his barefoot thing comes from his days of MMA, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where that comes from.
Right, because for some reason,
and obviously it just carried over.
If it, I hate to be, maybe I sound racist or something. I don't know, man. But
Ooh.
That's a big R word right there.
But I don't know, man. If it was a wrestler that wasn't Pacific Islander wrestler, I didn't like wrestlers with no shoes on.
So like Snuka.
Yeah, right. Jimmy Snuka
Snooker,
loved him without the shoes.
Yeah.
Loved the Samoan SWAT team without the shoes.
I'm thinking the High Chief even didn't wear shoes.
Yeah, but I didn't want to see no American wrestlers, man. No black guy, no white guy with no Asian guy. Some of the Asians I think.
Yeah, I'm about to say Mr. Saito and all them, man.
Well, they was actually they was
Fuji.
So us poor Asians who couldn't afford shoes, where it's okay for them to wrestle without the shoes.
Yeah,
Come on, really? All the Nikes that y'all are making, man? Come on.
We can't afford to buy them, but we can make them.
Wear shoes, man. I'm not being racist or anything.
I know.
We just joking around here, but I like to say, Jimmy Snuka was the first one that I think that was relevant that I really started watching without the shoes, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm like, man, he's got those tough feet.
Well, when it's 85 degrees and you're walking on the sandy beaches, you don't really need shoes.
That's
pretty
right.
much.
That's right.
Pretty much.
Okay, Yeah, Riddle, man, he was cracking me up, and I like the trombone thing that New Day had. Coffee and was it Coffee?
Kofi.
Kofi, or whatever his name
Kofi,
is.
not Eddie Kingston.
I don't know why in the world I'm saying that, but like I said, because I've been
thirsty or something?
Yeah, I've been watching those guys for years, man. But like I said, I like
Yeah.
the little blue trombone because I was a trombone player. So, but he can't play it though.
The New Day is a modern day anomaly in the fact that they're still together.
Right.
WWE goes into and through storylines so fast, and they just abandon storylines on a whim and that type of thing. And it's hard to trust the WWE, and I think that's part of the problem with being able to watch it is you can't trust it. Whenever they give you a nugget that you like, you still have that apprehension they're just going to kill this thing because that's what they always do.
Yeah.
And who was Randy Orton and Riddle's partner? I forgot who.
Their opponents?
Yeah.
I mean, I know their opponents was the New Day and wasn't that a six-man tag team match?
No, it's only 2 members of New Day because Big
I know,
E-
but wasn't this a 6-man tag team match? I thought that was a 6-man tag team match.
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't.
New
watch
Day, it was because, like I said, Randy Orton can't be trusted.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, he can't be trusted.
That's the best thing about Randy.
Yeah,
Orton.
and that's been proven.
Man, I like Randy Orton, but he can't be trusted. I mean, because like I say, he turned on the guy who was teaming up with Riddle and him. He turned on the guy. It took him out. And no, wait a minute. No, it was Randy Orton and Riddle. They was teaming with New Day. That's who they was teaming with. I'm sorry.
So it was an 8-man?
Yeah, it was an 8-man tag team match.
Oh, wow.
It was Riddle and New Day. And I like to say, I didn't put that all down. They was teamed up with, wow. Because, it was a New Day and Riddle and Randy Orton. And they was going against that big old guy, Amos.
AJ Styles and Omos.
Yeah,
and
AJ
some
Styles'
other guy.
little crew. And with Omos, what's his name, Omos?
Omos.
Yeah, that's why I got Amos written down, man. But I thought maybe then after they won the match, he turned. He just beat up the New Day, and Riddle was saying, "What are you doing, man? Those are my friends. We'll never have friends. You keep doing this, Randy." It cracked me up, man. I like, what? But Randy Orton, boy, he just had that look, man, just like.
So Randy Orton,
that's
that's why I like Randy Orton. You know, he's the guy that just gives you the RKO, stands over you, and just says, "Do your job," and leaves.
Yeah, basically.
And his father, man, you couldn't trust his father.
I wonder if his arm is still broke.
Man, he's still wearing that cast, man. Just in case Randy called him up, say, "Dad, I need help."
Man, that's the only man I've known for 30-something years. His broke arm ain't never healed. Man. It's been over 30 years.
Crack me up, man.
Arm ain't never healed.
That thing became a staple for him, man. Yeah. Like you seen it for years, man. And I remember when he was wrestling before he had that cast on. I like Bob Orton Jr. He's really good wrestler because, like I said, he's the third generation. He had his father Bob Orton wrestler too. So he was the second one.
Yeah.
And man, he was a really good wrestler. But then he put on that cast, man. I'm like, what are you doing, man? And when he put on that cast, like I say, he lost skill.
But that was a good gimmick.
Yeah,
though.
it was. And he just started beating people with the cast, man. And they hitting with the cast, and he taking people out. And don't have to beat you with my skill no more. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty sure he had a hand in training his son, man. And
Yeah, definitely.
And Randy's really good, man. I think they should build him on up, but yeah. But let's move on. Let's see, Shelton Benjamin versus Cedric Alexander.
Let me see here. Shelton Benjamin was great at one point in time.
Yes.
They buried him and kicked him to the curb, and then they let him come back to be the same buried guy they kicked to the curb.
Y'all
and then
too much credit.
Then Cedric Alexander was that guy. I don't know. If I had to compare him to anybody, Pistol Pete. All right? Pistol Pete Watley. He's a compact.
Pez Wiley?
Pez Wiley?
Yeah.
You're going to say, boy, you said Pistol Pete. Boy, I was thinking basketball.
Pistol Pez. Sorry.
Pez Wiley. Okay.
Yeah. Pistol Pez. So that's who I think of. So he's a ball of energy, and he had all the potential, and they just said, we have other people in mind, so just keep losing.
But for some, it's a wrestler, man. I cannot think of his name. He was in Georgia Championship Wrestling for a long time.
Rocky
And
King.
it's probably before your time. Michael's a little bit older. I mean, Michael a couple years younger than me, I think. I can't think of his name. It's not Rocky King. It's another black wrestler. But he was in Georgia Championship Wrestling. He was a jobber for years. You know, he went up for
Ain't no
years.
telling if that's the case.
You know, Mr. Wrestling 2 almost took his head off with a knee lift. And I have to say that's the best knee lift I ever saw in my life. His knee lift was.
I remember
think was better than
a
Jake.
guy named Mike Davis.
Oh yeah, I remember Mike Davis. Yeah.
He lost every week.
He was a good wrestler. Mike Davis is a good wrestler, though. But see, that's the thing about it. That's why I was telling Chris. I said Darby Allin, man, these people. I'm tired of watching. Well, that's one thing I have against wrestling today is they trying to make everybody stars. You never saw Mike Davis on the mic. You never saw doggone Rocky King on the mic. You never seen the Mookie brothers getting interview time. You never saw these guys getting out there and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They trying to build up too many people. I don't like that.
So I think Mike Davis had like 1,000 matches, and he almost won 1,000 matches.
Yeah, he would get close. He would get close.
Wow.
Yeah. But, okay, but that Shelton Benjamin match. Okay, Shelton Benjamin, I always thought he was a good wrestler. But he reminded me of like a Too Cold Scorpio. Almost there, but not really there. So, I mean, but, you know, he got over, though. He did get over.
I just think it's not Shelton Benjamin holding Shelton Benjamin back. That's my problem. Because I look at him and I think if he was somewhere else, he could do stuff.
Oh, good Lord, yes, man.
He's pretty much past his prime, though, man. As far as him being in the majors, to me, he's past his prime.
He really is, man.
And it's not that his skills have went away, anything like that. It's just that I don't think he works hard as he used to.
He don't, man.
He's not working hard.
And then
I can see that.
physically, you can see it
that's
too.
that's one thing about
So
physically.
look-
I'm looking at him physically, and I think he's not working hard. He's only
And
37.
neither is Cedric.
Yeah, right.
Because Cedric used to be, man.
But let me tell you this:
I'ma shut up.
if someone said, "Hey, I'm going to give you $1,000 to move these boxes from room A to room B," all right, and there's 100 boxes in there. You move 5 boxes, they give you $1,000. You move 100 boxes, they give you the same amount of money. How many boxes are you going to move?
Heck, I'll move one.
Right, exactly. And so if you're Cedric Benjamin, if you're Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, and you're going to get the same push, the same pay for the best effort, the best workout ever, and you're going to get the same pay and you're going to get the same push, or if you just
do the bare
chill
minimum.
out.
Do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and typically I'm not a bare minimum guy because you want to protect your reputation.
Right,
so,
right,
so you're going to do enough,
Yeah.
but you're not going to go above and beyond if
No.
they're not going to give you any
No.
incentive
Yeah.
for it.
No, definitely not.
Do y'all remember a wrestler called S.D. Jones? Special Delivery
Yeah.
Jones that was with
Yep.
WWF for a long time? Kind of remember, that's where Shelton Benjamin is stuck at, you ask me now. Because it's just like, even though he does, yeah, and I'm just like, man, come on, man. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to take this? Like, say,
I hate to say it, but
maybe
at this point, man,
yeah.
at this point, from where he was to where he is now, he's not going to get any higher.
Right.
He's going to be U.S. title, Intercontinental title area forever.
He
Yes.
needs
That's
to go.
it. Unfortunately, that's it.
He needs to go somewhere where he can be a big fish in a small pond. I hate to see it. You know, you go to one of the indies and be the big fish, and then try to come back. But like I say, work on yourself, work on his physique.
But
But
didn't he go to like TNA or something like that?
I think he did go to TNA.
Yeah, he
some
was
years
in
ago,
TNA for a
yeah.
while. Yeah. Okay, but we're gonna finish this thing up, man. We got one more match, but overall, I'm gonna give that Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander a C plus.
I just give it
Finish
a C.
I think you guys are kind.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
I
Here
am.
we go.
I
Here we
am.
go.
I'm
Come
kind.
on. Come on. Let me hear it.
All right, so I can't imagine a D plus programming having a C plus event match. So
Ooh.
they're not in.
Now we get
They're
to
not
the meat of it.
They're not invested in their wrestlers from what I can see. All right.
I had something to say on
They-
that, but go ahead.
They take command and control. They polish their turd, and and they roll it out there and try to tell us that they're doing something new. You know what? I don't mind rehash.
Same turd, different rapping.
I don't mind rehashing storylines, but when you're rehashing a storyline from 12 months ago, that's a problem. Do it a generation ago, and it seems kind of new.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah, they like you said, same turd, different rapping.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's I'm not going to get too deep on this, but basically it's like they're not investing in their wrestlers or their television product. They're investing their time and their energy on trying not to go under. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
And you can read into that, fans, as you like, but those that know, you know.
Okay, let's finish off with Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. Did you watch that match, Chris?
No, but I can only imagine from the matches they've had before, whether it's for the title or not, it was stiff, a little bit of athleticism.
It was stiff.
MVP interferes. Bobby Lashley comes away with the win. Am I right?
all right. So here's
MVP didn't interfere this time.
Okay.
so here's my thoughts on Bobby Lashley, and I'll tell you a little story. I sent a photo of Bobby Lashley to my sister-in-law. I said, hey, here's a picture of Bobby Lashley happy. Then I sent the same photo and said, hey, here's a picture of Bobby Lashley mad. Right? Hey, then I sent the same photo to her again and said, here's a picture of Bobby Lashley, filled with joy, and it's all the same picture.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow. He's just. I get it. Yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. Like I say, both of these, they got the look.
And they're both athletic as all get out.
Yes, but man, those two together, man, it's like trying to mix oil and water at a 40 to 1.
And you're rehashing
30
the
to
same
1.
thing because you've already seen them fight for the title.
Yeah.
You've already seen them in quote-unquote grudge matches. You've seen them on run-ins. Okay, come on, man.
Isn't that going to be the main event at the pay-per-view? Or it's going to be one of the matches at the pay-per-view, man. They're building it up again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I mean,
it wouldn't surprise me at this point. It really would.
Right.
But the match just Monday. I want to give it a B. I want to give it a B. I think
Don't do it though.
I know, man.
Yeah, what do you really feel, man? What
I'll
do you
go ahead
really
and give
feel?
it a C, man. It was sad. I mean, it was just, it will get, it kept crisscrossing. It will be slow and then it get better. It'll be slow and then it get better again, and then like there was plenty of action and it was hard hitting.
It was a lot of ebbs and flow too.
Right, but it just like these guys wasn't interested, man. It was like, oh, we done this over and over, man.
Sometimes just wrestling styles don't work
Right.
together in the same match, and I think that's the case with Lashley and what's his name? I forgot.
Drew McIntyre.
McIntyre. There we go.
Yeah.
So
That let
I
you
don't
know
think
how-
I don't think they match. to
Right,
be
I
honest
don't
with
either.
you. I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to have a good match.
I don't think so either. But like I say, I mean, it was okay.
because honestly, Drew's way more athletic than Bobby.
Absolutely.
Right.
Even though
Absolutely.
Bobby's athletic, Drew's got him.
Yeah,
beat
Drew
every
likes
time.
to jump.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. And Bobby can, but he's more ground based.
I think Drew need to work on his stamina a little bit though. I mean, because
Oh, you think he gets blown up?
I think so, man. I mean, from what I can see some lapse in as far as his stamina go, as far as this match.
Okay.
The way it was
They just need to call more
flow of
headlocks.
it. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, more. Oh, geez.
yeah.
More wrestles.
Yeah, but
Front face chin lock.
overall, man, I give Raw because I'm looking at the presentation still. The presentation, man, to me for some reason it brought back the 80s, man. The 80s and early 90s. It brought back that. Even though, like I said, it looked good. It still looked good. The set looks good, and they wrestlers have the image and all that. But man, they really overall show is really bad, man. So
Yeah.
I'd say I give it a D. I give it a D. The other night, Monday night was
I get it.
it wasn't good.
No.
It's
And
I think
hate
it's
saying that.
D for disappointment because it's
Yes,
like
yes.
they have all the tools.
They got-
all right.
yeah,
they have
right.
all the
And
tools.
yes,
they're just not
that's
using
what I
it.
was
Yeah, they
saying
got all
the
the
other
tools
night.
to
They
be
got
set up to be a successful show and get to where they once were and stay there, but they're not doing it.
Right.
They're not doing it.
And
so-
and it just and I think that for me, I see the potential and I see what they give me, and maybe that makes me come down harder on them because they're not,
And,
just like
right.
and
just
that's
like
another reason they're losing all their viewers.
just
You're
like
right.
the teachers writing on my report cards does not live up to his potential.
Yes, yes.
There you go. There you go. I give it a D minus, man.
Okay, but yeah, we're about to wrap it up, and this is it. I'm just gonna touch on this real quick. NWA Power. I didn't know, and maybe you guys knew this, but Austin Idol managing Tyrus. And I didn't know NWA Power was being filmed out of Atlanta. I had
Oh,
no
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
What? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in the old studios.
I didn't
It's
know.
in the old,
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
I see that.
and that's going to actually affect the locals here in the Carolinas because
Oh,
Austin
yes.
Idol does not have a good
Ooh.
reputation out here.
Ooh,
There's
Right, I know, I
there
know.
are plenty of
Yes,
indie wrestlers.
yes.
There's like, and hopefully they're listening to the show because right now they can go, oh, he's getting a check now because now I can go get my money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Austin he's definitely rubs a lot of people the wrong
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, but yeah, he's there, man. He's managing wrestlers up.
Yeah, that's going to
Of
not for
NWA
long the way I see it because
No.
he burned some bridges and then went down to the riverbank where the remnants were and set that thing on fire again. All right.
Yeah.
And so people are going to see him on that, and they're going to know he has money, and he's going to have collectors coming, and he's
yeah,
going to
he's gonna-
disappear
yeah,
again
man.
because
Yeah, he has a school. The reason I wanted to touch on that because he has a school right here in Greenville, South Carolina, in the upstate, where we're from. So I had to touch on that. But anything y'all want to say about anything you want to say about APW before we sign off?
Yes, APW. If you are in the upstate area, anywhere in the upstate area, we at APW, myself, Agent Sensation Michael King, we're there. We do shows every Saturday night, 8 o'clock, Bowling Springs, South Carolina.
122 Builders Court.
Yes, 122 Builders Court. Every Saturday night, the longest independent show in the upstate on a constant basis. $10 general admission, family friendly atmosphere, some of the best hot dogs this side of Mississippi. I will plug that. But also know one thing, we got a big show July 3rd, Scars and Stripes. That's the name of it. APW presents Scars and Stripes, July 3rd, Builders Court, Bowling Springs, South Carolina. Be there. That's all I can say is just be there.
We're going to have a cage. We're going to have a cage.
Yes. Hence the Scars and Stripes.
And somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah, somebody's
Right.
gonna hurt.
Also, the Spinning Jenny and Grill tonight is having a show, Turbo Wrestling.
Actually, that's going to be at Brewhouse 85 this time.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was at Spinning Jenny last
time.
last
Yeah,
month.
right,
so.
yeah.
So it's
that's right.
Brewery 85.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to check that out.
Okay.
Are you gonna show up, Michael?
I have to check my schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know you're a busy man, Mike. You evaluate some talent, brother.
But we appreciate you listening to us, and maybe we're gonna on a couple future shows. Like we're gonna stay with what's current right now, but on some of our future shows, we're gonna talk about maybe a top 10, top 12 wrestlers, and then we're gonna go through each wrestler, and we're gonna tell you what we think about them. We're gonna talk about in a future show what got us into wrestling, and who was the first wrestlers that we saw. And we're gonna have a future show where we talk about tag teams and who are the top tag teams and why do we think they're the top tag teams. And I hope everybody don't say, oh, I think it's the Road Warriors. And we're gonna talk about some of the independent promotions from the old days, from way back in the day. And
we're also going to talk about the comments that you guys put in on the
Yes,
YouTube.
yes,
So make those
yes.
comments. Let us know what you want to talk about. Let us
Or
know
how
who
you
you think is full of
feel.
crap, because
Yes.
it's probably Harry. It's definitely it's definitely not me. You know,
I know it's not me. I mean, come on, I'm the People's Podcaster.
Hey, man, you can listen to Chris until he's full of it, you know?
Hey man, look. Hey, the only reason my eyes are brown because I wear contacts. Okay, that's the only reason, man.
So make your comments. Let us know not just what you think. I mean, we do want to know what you think about our
Yes,
show, so,
definitely.
and how we can make it better. But let us know what you want us to talk about. Ask questions that you know we can answer for you, and we'll be glad to address those.
Yes, definitely. I mean,
Right.
make your presence known. Oh, how do you feel? What are your opinions about some of the topics that we discussed, or some topics that we didn't discuss that you all, the fans, may know about that we can possibly discuss in future episodes? Let your voice be known, because we want you to be a part of the show as much as we need you to be a part of the show. Because without you, there is no us. I mean, we can put out all the information, but we want to talk with you, not necessarily talk at you.
Exactly, and we do want to do an independent wrestling segment, and we'll be
Yes.
getting on that shortly. So right now we're fairly limited to the upstate North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia areas. So wherever you are, if there's independent wrestling, and there's links, send us links so that we can go take a look at it, and we'll be able to start addressing independent wrestling beyond the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Okay, that's it. For Straight Up Wrestling, where we're always straight up, we're giving it to you the way we see it, and we're giving it to you the way we feel. Click like and share.
And
hit
subscribe.
subscribe, and hit that notification button so you can know when we're coming on. This is Harry Bernard Taylor signing off with my man Michael King, the
Asian Sensation.
and Christopher Burton.
The People's Podcaster.
Thank you very much. We appreciate what you do.